Hey guys, Brad Pryor here with the Grit Branded Podcast. Hanging out with Carolyn Simancik.
Simancik. Yes.
We were just talking about last names kill me with all the people in the Western industry. Seem like they have a last name that's very unique and hard to pronounce. Mm-hmm. So, and you joined that club. Congratulations.
At least I'm in some club.
So, what do you do to the general audience on the daily? What are you supposed to do?
I'm supposed to be an equine photographer.
Yeah.
That is what I mostly do.
Yeah. You any good at it?
I've been told I'm pretty good at it.
Do you get paid for it, or is it just?
I do. I get paid for it. That is my job. That's my business. And yes, I jumped into it about 9 years ago.
And you're a big cheerleader too.
I am a big cheerleader.
If like when Thor's showing, and I know you have a special heart or a special place in your heart for Thor, but one of our studs, and of course the Dawsons.
Of course.
Who can't love the Dawsons? So, but where did you come up from?
I grew up just outside Detroit in a city called Troy, nowhere near horses or Troy, Michigan. Yes. Oh, yeah. And then I imported myself to the South like 14, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And haven't looked back. Yeah. I was ready to make a lifestyle change, I suppose you would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big family?
Not really. I have an older brother, mom, dad, a lot of cousins. A lot of my family, like second cousins and on, kind of live in Poland. So, yes, a lot of family, but not a lot of them in the United States.
Poland?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I have immediate cousins here, and then where a lot of people have like a big extended family, my big extended family, a lot of them live overseas.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. You go over and see them much?
I've been 3 times.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. What's it like over there?
I mean, it's incredible.
Really?
Well, I mean, I stay with family, so the food's great, the wine's great, the people are great, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So what got you in the horse industry?
I think I had the bug when I was a kid. I always wanted to go ride. I would bother my mom to learn how to ride horses, and we used to go to Tennessee in the summertime and trail ride. I don't know. I have no idea why Tennessee was the place, but and then that kind of stopped, as I became a teenager, and I never stopped wanting to be around horses, and met this lady who became a really good friend of mine in Michigan. She had some horses, so they were performance horses, they were reiners, and I didn't know anything about the Western performance industry at all at that point. And she introduced me and let me, ride her older horse and kind of show me the ins and outs of it. And I was hooked. I couldn't figure out how to get down here fast enough to get away from the city life and kind of slow down a little bit, which I didn't realize that we don't go any slower, but
No, we go a little faster here sometimes. But so, was it in a rural setting where you live, or was it in the city?
I lived mostly in the city.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's funny how I've got to know a lot of people through this podcast, that a lot of people come from the city that are well known in the industry. Casey Derry, matter of fact, is like from Forney, Texas, which not much of a background in horses other than until he was introduced to his 4-H. But it's crazy how many people get the opportunity or want to be in it, but they weren't born in it. Mm-hmm. And the passion, to me, I feel like, because I'm a product of that. I'm from the city, more rural, I guess, at the time, but it's a big city now. And I got to hanging out with a buddy of mine, and and they went to working horse shows with them, all that stuff, and I started getting the bug, and but I think back, if that relationship would have never happened, I don't know where I would be today, because everything's kind of evolved around that to where I am today.
Yes, I never really realized kind of how life has evolved, even just from when I first moved down here to where I'm at now. I had recently had some friends in from out of town, and it's really, when you take outsiders of Texas and the Western industry, and you take them and show them around, to see the reaction of what we are around every single day and what we do every day, it's incredible. You kind of can forget a little bit how special some of these horses are and what you see, what you ride around, and for me, what I photograph, and every single day, to see their reactions. And they're in the thoroughbred industry. They're around some of the greatest equine athletes on the planet, and they were just blown away at our industry.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun to watch.
Well, and I also think I obviously have a special place in my heart for Fort Worth, Texas, but I feel like when you get west of Dallas, everything just kind of changes anyways. The people, how things are handled, how you conduct your business yourself. I mean, you can get somebody from Dallas or east of Dallas a little bit, and they have the same, they're like, wow. And, they're so close to you, but they've never been exposed to it. And the same thing when they come from out of state or out of country, is like hospitality, and people want, and we're well open to people learning what we do and about it. And most time it's not as welcoming in other settings, even in the Western industry, different parts of the country, as you're talking about. I feel like there's a little more open arms in this area.
100%. 100%. I mean, the thoroughbred world is kind of really trying to figure out how to incorporate younger people in it, and it's fun for us. We've got that figured out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're here.
I didn't think about that. That's true. I never thought about on the thoroughbred side how, because we have youth in the reining cow horse, the cutters, like there's a youth program of some sort.
Yeah.
Rodeo industry. I didn't think about the thoroughbred.
And if you're not raised in it, I don't know how do you entice somebody to get into that industry?
Right.
Whereas we're so lucky that we have, especially in the cow horse, I mean, they work so hard to keep the youth involved, even the little ones that can't compete necessarily on their own, with our lead line classes and all that stuff. I don't see it being a problem for us at all. And I never really thought about it until more recently. Some of the programs in the thoroughbred industry are trying to gear towards being more, financially available for people in their 20s to want to invest in these horses and that industry. And, we've had people in their 20s that have been competing in our industry for 10 years.
Yeah, and extremely competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I compare that a lot to the 40-plus roping, because I'm glad they have it, because going back into roping and stuff, I wouldn't want to compete against some of these 15, 16-year-olds. They eating a lot with roping or reining cow horse or cutters. I mean, there's some amazing talent at a young age. And you would think, me thinking outside of I'd rather go see an open show with finals. But now I'm even getting into the youth stuff where it's like, these dudes, they got it, male or female. And it's cool to watch a kid with that kind of talent go out there at a young age, just thinking about where they're going to go next.
Oh, them youth kids and the cow horse, they put it on them. They have way more cojones than I do going down the fence. Well, I don't go down the fence, so no.
I don't know. It's not something I would choose to do for sure, because there's a lot to it. It looks easy, but if you've been around the horse industry long enough, you know what's all at stake, and we've seen what's at stake with some accidents that happen. But I think I've seen the NCHA, the reining cow horse, they have kind of rebirthed their youth program in the last couple of years too, and knowing kind of what you're saying about the thoroughbred, like where's our future going if we don't? Because that old money, the old people, the people that have been in it forever may not have somebody to pass it down to, or have the passion, because it takes passion to me if you want to be successful. Yeah,
because it's not. This is not for the faint of heart. Any part of this industry, breeding them, raising them, training them, none of it. It's heartbreaking at times. So if you don't have the passion for it, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, horses and the performance industry in general, you just can't look at the bottom line all the time. Because you look at the bottom line, you're going to be selling.
You just ignore that line.
Yeah. So, somebody inheriting a program that don't know what they're looking at, and they're just looking at numbers and accountant gives them. They don't have the passion for it. They're not going to care to figure out how to fix the bottom line or why the bottom line's that way. Don't you agree?
Yeah, or even if it can be fixed, in which most times you can build a program that is successful, but if you don't have the passion for it to learn and think outside the box, I think it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's encouraging too, watching how big the youth programs are growing, that there is going to be a future for this. It's not, well, what's next? And to see how engaged the kids are. Yeah. And the questions I get asked, and I'm just a construction guy, but it's like these kids, you get to know them so well, and even though you only see them 4 or 5 times a year, but it's a good long couple weeks or a month you're with them. So, they ask questions about what they should do with their life going forward. So, and I think that's pretty cool. If they know, at least ask that question or encouraged to ask that question.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting because we are on the road quite a bit, that the association's made adjustments. Even, I know the cow horse, I don't know as much about the cutting or the reining, but to have classrooms and places where kids can study that are homeschooled so they can compete, as much as they want to, if that's where the direction that they're going. They can homeschool at the horse shows with printers and computers and internet access. And, I think we've done a really good job as a whole to support that,
right,
to keep kids interested, but also obviously keep them in school and doing the things they need to do to be successful.
100%. So did you start off? So what did it look like starting off? What
with
industry?
Photography, or just here?
No, just starting off in general.
When I moved down here, I was riding horses, saddling, and just kind of a loper. And I quickly learned I wasn't very good at that. So I went to CSU and I went to breeding school. They have like a short course. And I went and worked for Dr. Carter for 8 years, and I was his breeding manager. So I stood Whiskey and Diamonds, and he's right on. And we had a bunch of mares there. Rose River Ranch had sent a lot of their horses there. And I would full out everything. And I collected the studs, did all the breeding, bred the mares, and then was also a vet tech for Dr. Joe's daughter, Dr. Jessie. And that was a very, very full-time job.
Yeah.
And that kind of led to just meeting everybody in the industry because he's so busy, he goes everywhere. And I picked up a camera about 10 years ago. B. Silva, I had asked one of my friends that rode horses, and she introduced me to B, and he gave me a couple lessons and gave me a camera and a lens, and that was it. Everything happened really quickly after that. I would go practice at Aaron Tormino's and try to figure some things out. And the next thing I knew, the Tuftons were flying me to Scottsdale to photograph Kelby on Hickory Holly Time, which was like one of my all-time favorite cow horses. And I was like, I am really not at that level, like what you are needing for professional pictures. Kelby's wife is one of my closest friends, and she's like, well, you're gonna figure it out, let's go. And I mean, that was it. It started then, and I was still working for Dr. Carter and trying to do both, and after a couple of years, it just got to a point where there weren't enough hours. I had to make a decision, and I had gone to a racehorse photo workshop in, I guess, the beginning of 2018. And while I was there, you kind of got to, whoever had the best portfolio got to shoot the Kentucky Derby, and whoever had the most improved portfolio got to pick a different race. So I won the most improved, and I chose the Breeders' Cup. And that year I had kind of gone, it was like 9 days of covering the Breeders' Cup at Churchill Downs, and I just really knew that was it. I needed to figure out what I needed to make and do, and so I could quit my day job and make this like my whole job. And then COVID hit, and that was mildly terrifying.
Yeah, for everybody. If anybody wasn't terrified of that, in the pharmaceutical business or something. I don't know. So,
Well, the vet business actually got crazy busy because everybody was riding. That's all they could do. So we would get horses in, you know, if your horse had something where it needed off or whatever, they would send us their horses to work on because there was no horse shows. So we got really busy.
so what was the initial? Do you remember a time where you said, "Okay, I feel like I have the confidence to go forward in this"? Was that at the Breeders' Cup, or was that a different time?
My first Breeders' Cup was pretty incredible. I think when you don't have any pressure, because there was none. I don't think that the people that had hired me to do that, they had any expectation of me to turn in, you know, any type of good work. So I just went and did the best that I could, and it ended up being just a phenomenal Breeders' Cup. And there was a mare that flew over she had just won the ARC in France, and no horses ever against the boys and on the turf. So she flew over here and ran in the Breeders' Cup. And I mean, I was on the roof at Churchill Downs, and the pictures elevated of this horse, and she won. So it became the story of the year and all that. And that was when I finally thought that I might at least have to take a look at this becoming my actual job.
Yeah. So you've shot racehorses and reining cattle. Or what has been the most challenging to shoot between anything you've?
Horse racing can be tough because you have all the natural elements. Mm-hmm. You know, the Kentucky Derby this last year, I was covered in head to toe mud. It rained for 2 days. I mean, it rained the whole week, but it rained literally for 2 days. And you don't have an option. You put a rain cover on your camera and off you go. I mean, you have to cover the event. It's not like the cow horse where you're inside, or if you're doing a shoot at home, you're like, oh, it's cloudy. We can do this another day. You know, this is when it's happening, and this is when you have to cover the event. The weather is kind of fun. Sometimes the rain and the bad weather can separate the people that have been doing it for a little while from the people that haven't necessarily learned their craft enough at that point. So the rain, it can be tough. It can be grueling. It can be cold. You know, sometimes they do Breeders' Cup at Churchill Downs. It's really cold in November in Kentucky. So it's cold and raining and snowy and disgusting, and you have to somehow make everything look really pretty. Yeah.
And people that are getting to enjoy these images don't have a clue what you did to get that image.
Yeah, no idea.
Going through all that.
No clue. You know, your gear freezing up. There's been times where, so a lot of the images you see, especially at the Kentucky Derby, under the race rail, you'll see just a line of cameras on the inside of the track, and they're remote controlled. And there have been races where at different tracks, it starts raining so hard, it just floods them, and you just watch all these cameras go floating down the track. It's a little traumatizing.
Yeah, I would say so.
I would say, though, the hard part with the cow horse is knowing that I have photographed my friends in really bad situations or have a really bad wreck. That's been really hard.
Yeah, that would be tough. Because I mean, you care about the animal and the rider itself, and have passion for both, and and it's still hard. And especially in the reining cow horse or cutting industry or rodeo industry, that your animal's working against another animal, and sometimes these things just don't go right, and it all falls apart. But you have to, but when it goes great, you got to be there on top of it and having the best shot. That way they can promote. I mean, what you're doing is promoting a mare or a stud to some degree, or a program.
Yeah.
So you have to illustrate what they're good at. Even though, because if you weren't paying attention to all those dynamics and you weren't getting the images they need or the video, then they're not going to have a business. So there's a lot of pressure that relies on what you're doing, and be there and pay. Because me, like I like watching it, but I would be a terrible photographer because I would be off in La La Land when I'm supposed to be paying attention. I'm not zoned into every little thing, and that's tedious.
It is tedious, and sometimes it's hard to stay hooked. The cattle are bad in the herd work, and everybody's running all over the place. I mean, that gets a little like, oh goodness, I just need one good 75 run. Like I just, right. Let's see it. Let's see something good. Or if they're, there are days where it's difficult, but I love watching my friends succeed. I love it. Maybe the hardest time was this year at the snaffle bit, because when John Swales came in and put it on Veronica's horse, I don't even remember anything after that. My brain exploded. That was it. I was done. I didn't photograph the last horse. I just got up and ran to the back gate because, I think there's a lot of, it's very personal to me, and maybe that's what makes a difference.
I think everybody in your line, though, I think if they're good at it, they care. There's an emotional contact between the rider or the horse or both, to some degree, and I think that because that passion pours through your imagery of what you're shooting. It has to. Yeah. And I agree. You take somebody from ESPN that doesn't know nothing about horses, and they've been shooting IndyCar or Formula One stuff. They come shoot a horse, and you go do the polar opposite. They're going to be two different results that nobody could probably sell because he's passionate about this or she's passionate about that, and you're this. So there has to be that passion there, or any photographer could pull off anything. And in the horse industry, I think it's impossible if you don't have that passion for it.
I think so too, and I think the passion is what keeps you going back and learning more and trying to learn how to do something differently or bring something new to the table. Yeah. To show off what brand you're there shooting for, whether it's the horse, the rider, the owner, whomever it's for. How do you
so I would assume you have multiple customers. You can't just work for one person, I would guess. So how is it distributing the equity of excitement from one to the other?
I don't think it's that hard because, especially in a case like the world's greatest horseman, these runs are incredible time after time. There's no two fence runs are the same. When you have a cow involved, I don't think that you can make the same image over and over and over again. It's all going to be different. There's something tricky about it at some point in every single run. So I think that if it was just the reining, I think that would become a little bit more difficult to not have the repetition of every single thing looking the same every time. But since the cow, you have a human, a horse, and a cow, it's never going to be the same because it's every single run. Even if it's the same human, horse, and cow every time, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. Yeah.
Well, so is there such thing as a horse being photogenic?
Yes. I believe that they are photogenic, even on this, like a side of them is more photogenic than the other. I photograph most horses for their conformation from left to right, and I learned it a little bit from the thoroughbred world, like reading a book. You would read a horse from the left to the right. And I would say, to me, a lot of horses are more photogenic that way.
Really? Mm-hmm. Are there any that's like, hey, yeah, you're taking a picture of me, and they actually put on a show?
Yeah, 100%. And usually those ones are really talented.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So do you think they know over time, though, what they're fixing to do?
100%.
When you're getting set, yeah.
100%. Especially the stallions, when they know. They're not dumb.
So okay. So they got the little frat boy syndrome when it comes time for a...
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I never thought about that. I mean, obviously, I think we took a picture of Thor one time, but hopefully we'll get in some more.
We'll get some more.
Yeah. But I never thought about it that way. That would be something to start looking for more often. But so what's been the horse that's been the most challenging to be photographed?
I can't say its name.
That. That's what I love about the horse industry. Y'all got to plead the fifth so many times.
He doesn't, if it makes anybody feel any better, he doesn't live in the United States anymore. He went overseas many, many years ago. but I was helping that day. I wasn't even the main photographer. I was just helping beat, and 2.5 hours, and it was not happening.
Yeah.
It would not stand up, and you couldn't touch his back legs, and
Study?
not even naughty, just
No, study. Like,
a little study, little just doesn't want to do it. No, thank you.
yeah.
But and then there's other ones that they just boom, here I am. And they'll stand there for an hour, perfectly level, and let you take a million pictures of them.
Yeah.
I miss our cameras kind of changed in the last few years to they're mirrorless, so they don't make any sound when you pull the trigger. You can turn the sound on, but the old cameras kind of sound, I used to joke, they sound like a machine gun. I mean, they're so loud. Yeah, and you would hear it, and these horses would hear it, and they would just immediately look. They knew. At the racetrack, we used to say it all the time. If you had a horse that was really talented, War of Will was one that I clearly remember. He would hear the camera, and you would watch him just like he would get bigger and bow himself up. Midnight Bizu, she is a big race mare. She would do the same thing, and she would her eyes, they kind of light up, but get like gritty. It was wild. It's wild to see.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I've been off in the weeds watching weird movies and stuff to challenge myself to try new things in life. But I watched a show called Spencer the other day about Princess Diana.
Oh, I did not watch that.
Yeah, it's very sad. But anyway, it shows you the life behind the scenes of a princess or a royalty. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene where she's going through all this, and she comes out, and it's the paparazzi. And that's what you hear. Like, it's just so loud as the camera's clicking. Because, this is 15, 20 years ago, whatever long it's been. But I never thought, because the way technology has changed so much with cameras, I forgot about that sound.
Yeah.
And how loud they click. But especially when you have a bunch of them together.
I can't imagine, like, at a tennis game or something, something that's kind of, or golf, when they only had those cameras, what it would sound like, like the U.S. Open or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure it sounded really loud.
Yeah. Well, I just haven't thought about that since obviously our technology's changed so much.
Yeah. It changes every 6 months, I feel like.
So how often do you have to cycle through equipment? Or need to, or...
I have newer cameras, and then some of my big glass is very old. My big 400, it is from, I bought it off of the guy that I consider like my horse racing mentor, and it photographed Zenyatta, and she ran in 2009.
Don't get me long.
I don't even know. I think 2009, and.
Nobody fact checks you on here anyways. It's Brad. Like, they don't like Brad.
Yeah, she's like my heart horse, but I completely don't remember when she ran. It's fine. But yeah, some of this gear I have is old, and then some of it's brand new. I'm really, really lucky. Canon, I shoot all Canon, so at big racing and big events, they'll send me gear. I got to meet them pretty early off in my career and stayed in touch with them. And man, do they take good care of me. I don't know what I would do, because they send me huge glass for these big events. Because, to have some of them, they're like $18,000 for these lenses. And if I'm going to use it twice a year, it doesn't really make sense. So they're really, really good about supplying me with whatever it is that I need to take care of, these big horse racing meets. And they'll do, they sent me some stuff for the Run for a Million, and just to make sure that I am covered with whatever I need. And then they're really good about kind of walking you through any new techniques or updates or this or that. So I have a mix of brand new.
But more rotate on probably camera than glass, I guess, is like, as long as you take care of it, it lasts as long as you want.
Yeah, and they really say, like, good glass is more important than a good camera.
Yeah. Well, I've always thought it was weird because I don't know nothing about cameras, but I guess the longer and wider they are, the glass, the better quality it's going to be, or the closer you can get farther away. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I mean, y'all walk around these shows. I'm like, why in the hell y'all have these big ass freaking cameras with these freaking gonzo noses on them, like this long? I'm like, because I don't know.
Yes. Well, so Canon came out with this lens, and it's called a 100 to 300. That's what I have when you see me at the show, and it really gives you a wide range of the whole arena. In horse racing, I have one. It's a 200 to 400 millimeter, and then it has like an automatic extender, so you can flip this switch on the top, and it goes to like 580 millimeters. Those pieces of glass are super important because it lets you cover a huge range. In horse racing and cow horse, you know where, obviously in horse racing, where they're going to end, but you have a whole stretch run that they have to make, and there's a lot of action that happens at the top of the stretch. And if you're all the way at the finish line, if you have big glass, like that adapter that lets you kind of go in and out, I mean, that'll help you. I won an Eclipse Award and in horse racing, and I had this big lens that could switch back and forth, so I could get them at the top of the stretch, and they're race riding at the top of the stretch. So race riding is they're knocking the shit out of each other. Mm-hmm. And I got all of that on camera, and then could switch to a shorter length as they got closer to the finish line and still be able to capture all of that. And it's really important to have access to kind of all of that to be able to cover all of your needs at one event.
Right. So when I'm at these horse shows, do y'all have a competition, like who's got the bigger or best lens? You're like snob, you're like, girl, you shooting with that?
No. I think everybody.
The technique based too, because some people have a technique and a desire to do.
I think so.
With this equipment works good for them, so it don't really matter who's got the best or whatever.
I really think it's important for people to be comfortable with their gear. So whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay. I have to educate people that are sitting next to me. They're like, why do they have these big lenses? I don't know. I'm not a photographer, but you know.
Well, so if you look at the cow horse, you know, they start off boxing and then they go down here, and it's like, they don't sometimes stay all the way down there. So you need flexibility. And before I got this lens, I would have two cameras with two different lenses to cover what was right in front of me and what's really far away from me. Luckily, Canon just came out with one that kind of took care of all that for me. But it's really expensive, but in my situation, just worth it.
Yeah. So you're giving a shout out to Canon. Thank you.
Yeah, big thank you, Canon. Thank you so much.
Hey, y'all can donate stuff my way too if you want to. So you're talking about, and I just, I go off in la la land when people start talking, sometimes too much, and we lose our place what we're talking about. But I'm thinking when you're saying there's a lot of action going on and jockeys are battling and all the things. Is it kind of like dirt track racing, so they just pull their helmets off afterwards and they start beating the hell out of each other?
No, I mean, it happened on occasion, but not very often. It in the heat of the moment, I guess they call it race riding. They kind of bump elbows and whatnot. They're not punching each other.
I know, but I'm talking about after,
no, usually
like race car drivers, they get in a wreck or something, or somebody's hitting one too much.
If someone causes a wreck, there's so much more at stake than just a human life. There's many human life. I mean, if you were to cause
100%.
A horse wreck, there's a lot, that could be catastrophic on so many levels, and it has been, and we've seen it, and it's unfortunate. I think because of that, they do race ride, and there's obviously a couple bad seeds in every
that's usually the ones that started.
Yeah, but for the most part, I think these guys try to take care of each other for the most part. Yeah. In this situation,
it's a competitive nature.
It is competitive
to some degree. They have to ride a certain way, would fit certain horse just like anybody else.
Yeah.
But there are also some advantage to get underneath somebody's skin and give them a little bump.
For sure. Okay, but in this situation, and this picture has been analyzed over and over because I won an award for it, so
I wanted a list of all these accolades. You've won a lot. I didn't know you were that popular.
I'm not that
I
popular.
didn't know you were that good. I
Well-
don't mean that in a bad way, but I just always know you're my buddy that waves at me.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool year. I don't know, like in Eclipse Awards, so in thoroughbred racing, they do end of the year award, and it encompasses everything. So horse of the year, champion 3-year-old, champion filly, distaff, everything. Jockey, breeder, owner, everything. So it was 2023. There was a horse named Cody's Wish, which if you haven't heard of Cody's Wish, you should definitely Google the story because it'll make you cry.
Oh, wow.
Horse racing has some pretty incredible stories. This was Cody's Wish's last race, and they were coming down the stretch, and National Treasure, which was a Baffert horse, and Cody's Wish, who had won the same race the year before in the Breeders' Cup, they were at the top of the stretch, and they were battling it out all the way down. And in the picture, National Treasure's jockey is elbowing Cody's Wish's jockey, and you can kind of see. I mean, National Treasure's kind of pulled off his stride, and Cody's Wish won. I mean, by a nose hair, and I just always wonder. It's like you say, maybe get under his skin, or maybe he pulled his horse off his stride a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe he pulled on his face a little bit, because in the picture, a lot of people at the track were kind of looking at it, going, I personally think Cody's Wish would have won no matter what. But National Treasure kind of has this. He's in an awkward position.
Yeah.
So
what's a moment that sticks out to you that you were proud to be in this industry, you're proud to do what you're doing, but was like a heartfelt situation that you're like, wow, I just captured something amazing? So I know there's probably a lot because you are a photographer, but is there one that's special to you?
That I captured something amazing?
I mean, it's like you just thought, oh, wow. Maybe you're looking back at your footage and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool. That outdid myself.
I would say quite a few, but they're all involving my friends, because I think I'm so, I get so excited to watch my friends succeed. But I have a really cool image of Sarah going down the fence on Vince Vaughn in the prelims of his Futurity year. And it was fast. It was scary fast. I mean, I didn't really want to watch, and I just kind of held my camera up and like took a picture without looking. And this cow just, smashed right into him. Most of them are cows smashing into the people, because I have the same thing with Clay Volmer, and this cow just jumped up and gut punched him. I mean, with its head. It's unbelievable. But yeah, there's a couple of those moments of just, you have no idea how the horse stayed up, the rider stayed on, any of that. I think maybe one of my favorites is when Chris won the Futurity. And I made him, it was the first year Brumbaugh, they sent the chair, the Futurity chair. So I had the chair in the middle of the arena with all of the Futurity champion flags in the background, and took this really
That's pretty cool.
wide angle.
I mean, I know the image you're talking about. That's cool.
I like to just try to make a memory for all of my friends. I photographed, one of my best friends winning the Run for $1 Million. I find that to be exceptional.
Who do you think's the most challenging to shoot, Sarah or Chris?
Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Sarah would be so easy going. She's so easy going and quiet. Chris, so loud and out there. I figured he'd be more photogenic, but
Chris is. I don't know, like easier.
makes a lot of faces.
He does make a lot of faces.
He does. I've noticed that. Like different things I've seen him, he's like he's just got a smile.
Not to be out. Clay Volmer will outdo him though. That's for sure.
Oh really?
Oh yeah,
I'll
he
have to pay
makes some
attention
faces.
I mean, I pay attention to Chris a lot, but it's like that. He does make some faces sometimes. I'm like, So I'd like to know what's going on in that head of his when he's making those faces, too.
Right.
Or we'd all be scared of that, probably.
They mic'd him up at the Run for a Million qualifier. Have you watched The Last Cowboy?
No.
It's really funny. They had him mic'd up when he was going down the fence. I thought that was very risky.
Yeah.
And everything, it was like he was talking to his horse and the cow, and I was cracking up laughing the whole time. I mean, he's just very particular, as much as you would think Sarah is. Chris is pretty particular.
I can see
And
that.
very much believes if his horses are not that great on video day and take too many takes, that it's going to translate into the show pen. So that always makes me nervous because
Yeah, for sure.
I know I'm no, everything's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
But
If you had to recommend to somebody or an individual, young or older, that did have this passion for what you do, what would you recommend to them?
the passion to get into photography, I would recommend finding people better than you and learning from them.
That's a very common thing with photographers. I've done a couple of people on here, and and I think that's a lot of people that are good at what they do. They surround themselves by people that are way better than they are or think they could ever be. Like, you are what you surround yourself around. So
Yeah, and I think that's what, when, like, my first Breeders' Cup, we were talking about it, Alex, the guy that I still work with in horse racing to this day, and then there was another guy, Jamie. He is a huge Formula One photographer. Huge. Incredible. I don't think I had any idea the caliber of person I was working next to. And I follow him now, and it's incredible to be around people like that. Every time I go to horse racing, there are the core people I'm around every single minute while I'm there. They're nothing like them. And it is like going to college every time I go to horse racing.
really, yeah. For investors, I guess you have different different horses and stuff like that, or talent of shooting. Probably some. I would have to guess that. I don't know if that's true, but is it? So if there's a Formula One investor, do they use their photographer for their horse, or do they try to have somebody in the horse industry?
Well, this guy he was in the horse industry as well.
Okay.
Like he grew up kind of in horses in North Carolina, I believe, and he just loved it. But Formula One, right after that, I mean, you couldn't pay him enough, I don't think, to come back to horse racing, literally just because of how successful he is in Formula One.
Right. That's a very lucrative business.
It is.
I had no idea.
He makes you want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Just the images, he sells it very well and makes everything look beautiful. And when you see, he kind of started what I photographed thing on Instagram. And when you see it's not the snapshot of what the naked eye sees and what his eye saw and edited and cropped into. It's impressive. So that, I would say, surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
As much as you can. I mean, you're always going to be, in an industry where maybe you are the better one at a certain point, but you need to always go and find somebody better and learn.
If you had to say, from when you're done working or when you're at the end of your career, or what would you want to be known for?
I would want to be known for someone that captured other people's favorite memory.
Yeah.
Their favorite moments, their favorite horse, their favorite person. You never know when that moment's going to be the last moment with something or somebody. And I would hope that I would be the person. Before Dual Smart Ray passed away, they had me come do an end-of-life photo shoot with him, and it was super important to me.
Yeah. You're pretty much, and it's something I've learned since I've been in business 24 years now, and I've been better over the last. When we celebrated our 20th year. Ever since then, I look back and I wish I would have kept up with a lot of pictures, old merch, all the old contracts that I used to handwrite, building I used to draw. It's like that stuff I didn't keep up with because I always just hustling trying to make a living. I didn't know what it was going to turn into or if it was worth keeping that stuff. But having that memory box now, each year we get a shirt made or whatever. I have it, throw it in the office there and put it in that box. And the same way with photos, there's just so many things. And what's different when I was growing up versus where people are now is everybody takes pictures with their phones or they're on a stick. They're not developing at Walgreens, most people. Yeah. They're not developing their film, so to speak. Or, taking their drive up there and print stuff off. So, you got to go finding a device that all that stuff was on, 10 years later is almost impossible. But I think that's cool. As I've been doing that, I've been thinking about things that have been caught on camera or I ask a lot of friends, like, hey, send me that, or marketing girl, send me that. I'll try to keep up with that better.
Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing like your friends or people immediately, Veronica Swales had this ripper fence run on Spanish nights, and I mean, as soon as it was over, she came running over and she's like, I need to see that. People love these memories. These are horses that mean so much to them and moments that mean so much to them. Even in her wreck, Chris was like, don't delete the pictures. Right. And I was like, well, I don't really think I want to keep those. And he's like, maybe at some point when everything's fine and she's back showing,
that'll be something. It'll
be something. And I was like, okay, well, I'm never looking at them again. They're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Nobody likes to see that, especially with their friends.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
If you had to give an 18-year-old or your 18-year-old self advice, what would it be?
Probably to say yes to more things and travel more.
That's a new one. Yeah?
Yeah, I think
Were you bashful at a young age?
I don't think I've ever been
fixing this thing. And I know you're a little nervous being on here, but you're warmed up a lot. But it's like your personality, I can't see you being shy.
No, but I think there's a lot of things that I said. I was afraid to miss work or, I'm like, I have this responsibility. I got to go here. I got to do this, or it's not the right time. And I think you never realize how much, like, for me, traveling, it's been travel, going all over the world or starting to, has changed a lot of the way I think. And I think that you really find out who you are. So work's always going to be there. Your bills are always going to be there. But having experiences and going to do cool things with your friends or your family is really important. Yeah. You'll remember that forever.
100%. And if you had to define your grit with one word only, what would it be?
Probably passion.
Passion?
Passionate?
Passionate? Either way. Your word.
It's what's driven me through everything.
I think the hardest thing that means you bring that up, the hardest thing that people misunderstand me about with my temper.
Ooh, I have one of those too.
Yeah. Mine can go from 0 to 1,000,000 miles an hour real quick. But it comes down to, as I've gotten older, I've learned to control it a lot better. But also, it's mostly passion bubbling out of me. And it's either passion for what I see in somebody or passion about what I want out of something. And it feeds me in a lot of ways because, I think the world's lacking a lot of that these days. So. They don't even know what that feels like. And that's sad, because you can't learn that from a device or Google, or that's a true feeling that people have to, it's got to be in your soul.
I think so. I think that, I don't know. I don't know how to be without being passionate about it.
Me either. Like, I get the most uncomfortable when I have to hold back because there's some things I just
Yeah.
want to just tell somebody, like, you just stop doing that, stupid.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
I'll have to leave a room. Like, I can't, if it's too much, like, if I can't say it, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Because if I don't say it, my face for sure will say it.
My poker face is terrible.
Terrible. Mine is so bad. We talked about it the other day, and I think that the passion thing comes into play a lot. I always say I'm not much of a crier, but it's like in the last 8 years, watching my friends and everything that they've accomplished, every time one of my friends wins, I'm sobbing. You know, and I think it's just the passion for the sport and this industry, and I mean, definitely my job, but I don't know. It's very personal, and
Yeah, I mean, one of my twin daughters, she went to the basketball. They went to the playoffs, and I forget with her, it's the same way. Females, and my oldest son's the same way. Can't say it's just females, but they are so passionate about what they do. It's either happy tears or mad tears.
and if I'm mad and I'm crying, you should probably run.
That's the same. You start me see run waterworks out of my eyeballs, you better run, because it's fixing to be bad.
Yeah.
But I've had to explain that to her and my kids growing up. I'm like, because I know the feeling. You know, they try so hard, and they went to this playoff game and they lost by 1 point.
Oh.
And it was a low scoring school. I mean, every game that was it. But I told her, I said, that's your passion coming out in you. You're okay to let it show. Who cares? You know, people watching you, or they got their own things in life. You don't have an audience like you think they do. Just let it be. And you know, she calmed down. But it was, you know, see, for that game to be that low in the score of a game and to be 1 point off, that's what playoffs are for, to be that challenging. And you're your own champion right now on your own platform. You know, I mean, look where you made it. There's a lot of people, at least you showed up and tried. A lot of people forget that, and they're always so worried about who's watching what they're doing or who's watching on social media. Most people ain't watching what you're doing. Just do your thing. You know?
Every time I've gotten caught up like that, where I worry about, like, oh my God, so-and-so is doing this, or am I not doing enough, if I'm not booked enough, or any of those questions where not even doubting myself, but just worrying about what somebody else is doing. Every time something like small, but whatever, just kind of almost like smacks me in the face, like, focus on yourself, because you're doing it. I mean, if you know you have the passion for it, do it.
Right.
I mean, just keep going. It's going to work.
Yeah. When you don't want to miss an opportunity worrying about, you know, and I read this somewhere, and I don't know where the crap I read it. I'm terrible about remembering this stuff, but at least you had the courage to try. Who cares if you failed?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't
Because
try, it's very boring.
Right. Like, it's okay to fail, but there's not people around you waiting for you to fail. Then there's some that are, but most of the time, most people are not sitting there just waiting for you to fail. If it happens, it happens.
I think most people don't actually care what you're doing.
No, they don't. They're busy with their own crap.
Yeah, life is
this
busy.
day and time, life's busy, and I have to reiterate that with my kids. Like, listen, number one, most of these people you go to school with, you won't see the rest of your life, because I can only name a couple that I've seen, you know, since I've grown up. So I wouldn't, you know, waste your time or effort being upset about something. And most of the time, they're too busy doing their own thing. So at least give it a shot.
Exactly.
So I got one athletic kid. Well, both of them are very athletic, but one loves sports and one is my welder. And she's the one that's been the most foo-foo. So it just blows my mind. And the courage of her walking into a fab shop with a bunch of men, pretty girl,
Yeah.
hold their own place. So it makes me feel good as a dad. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
go in there and she can weld left-handed, right-handed, and do all the things. And she taught herself. I didn't teach her.
Really?
No, when I learned she was an AgMech, I was shocked, because she said, I'm not playing athletics. I'm not playing sports this year. I'm going to AgMech. I'm like, girl, you're going to burn your hair. You're going to mess your nails up. I mean, she still does all the things, but she built a trailer that went to all the major shows.
Really?
Yeah. Her now
That's
boyfriend.
impressive.
Yeah, out of not asking one thing from her father. That's how hard-headed my kids are. It drives me crazy. They'll pop up, look, I did this on my own. And people don't realize this, and I'm nobody but a construction guy, but when you're Brad Pryor's kid, that's what they say. Mm-hmm. Like, we live in your shadow because they live out in East Texas. So where I grew up, everybody knows who I am.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And it's like, oh, you learned how to do that from your dad, or your dad paid for all that, or your dad, they pay for their own bills, their own truck, their own stuff. And they've elected to do that. Mm-hmm. I do help them if they need it, but
yeah, of course.
But they've elected to be that way, and that's surprising, with a lot of kids, especially. So I was shocked when she said she wanted to build a trailer for the company that we used, and she did.
It's impressive. It's not easy to be a woman and hold your own space in a male-dominated world, and it's been fun to watch the cow horse become, not so male-dominated. Horse racing's got a little bit before it gets there, but there are some great women in racing, and they are doing big things. So, but it is fun to watch women hold their own.
Oh yeah, I'm always having daughters showed me a lot, and I'm always a big fan for empowered female. And just holding their own in general. I don't care if they're flipping a burger and paying their own bills. At least they're doing it. Mm-hmm. They're not living behind a shadow somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Well, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Stay tuned for your next Grit podcast.